So when you run for president, are you going to impose a wealth tax or a billionaire's tax?
I don't think that I don't think that anyone, and that we don't have to wait for any one president to impose a wealth tax. I think that it needs to be done expeditiously.
You have the recipe that many Latin American countries applied many times. That is, short-term things that gives some relief in the short term, but end up being, a tragedy for the future. It's like public expenditure, huge public expenditure, price control, sometimes wealth tax, and you end up. The wealth goes away, and you have just the tax, and you don't have wealth anymore. That was something that Peronism did many times. So all these recipes then creates a cycle, no? Then you have this short-term relief, but then goes with inflation, shortage. Then you have more poverty, and this and the cycle goes and goes.
Yeah, did you hear that, AOC? You're going to create more poverty in the U.S. First, that was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with a major blunder, another gaffe in Munich, pushing a U.S. wealth tax. The U.S. Constitution clearly already outlaws it. It's against the law. Plus, that was a top Argentinian official schooling AOC, saying the wealth tax you want already destroyed entire nations in South America and pushed families into poverty. Look who's here, Fox News contributor and author Miranda Devine. Miranda, what's your take on AOC here? She wants an asset grab, right? That's unconstitutional, against the law. Says nothing about the trillions of dollars lost in the United States to waste, fraud, and abuse over the last generation.
Yeah, Liz, she had to go to Europe, of course, to have those crazy ideas be taken seriously, either that or New York or California. She's obviously running, was my big take from that, because she didn't demur when she was asked, when you run for president. She seemed to quite like that. The wealth tax is the new kind of magic bullet, it seems, for progressive Democrats. And already you're seeing what's happening in California with people like Mark Zuckerberg and many other wealthy Silicon Valley types just escaping as fast as they can, because they're afraid that if they don't get out now, there'll also be an exit tax, which one of these so-called reporters quizzed AOC about. She was among friends there because Europe is still very socialist, and I think that was why Marco Rubio's speech was so timely, just warning everybody about the perils of socialism. But that makes no difference to the Democrats like AOC and Gavin Newsom, who were sort of hovering around the fringes there with their silly ideas, which they just are bringing to America, which is, it goes against the American ethos, and you're seeing the results in blue cities, which are effectively socialist.
Yeah, I mean, a wealth tax is communism. It's asset seizures. And it would destroy jobs. Yes. I mean, they're talking 50,000 at least jobs leaving California. Gavin Newsom doesn't want a wealth tax. I mean, how can somebody so ignorant about the U.S. Constitution go overseas to Munich and say, we can get a wealth tax with the next president? You can't. You have to change the U.S. Constitution. Not only that, you have to get 2/3 of U.S. states to do that. So how can she be so ignorant about what the U.S. Constitution says? It outlaws, it says no to a wealth tax. Countries in Europe tried a wealth tax, and it failed. You just heard that official out of Argentina saying, this is Peronista. It destroyed Peru. It destroyed, Ecuador. It destroyed countries in South America.
Well, yes. I mean, we know that. It's obvious. History teaches us that very clear lesson. But progressive Democrats like AOC and Zoran Mamdani don't listen. It's as if history never existed before them, and they're the geniuses. And unfortunately, for voters, the siren song is still alluring, as we saw with Mamdani's elevation in New York, and as we're seeing the progressives take over the Democrat Party and basically beat anyone who's left, like John Fetterman, I think last man standing, who dares to differ from them. It's very tragic for America that one party has completely lost its mind, and don't rule them out getting power again.
We got it, Miranda.